And we are alive.
Hey, yo. Welcome to the wonderful world of Hungry Heat. I am not a classically trained chef. What I am is a self-taught home cook. I have studied under several television chefs. I have a PhD from YouTube University and a black belt in Google Food. I love to cook. The only thing I love more than cooking is my wife, the warden. Together, we host what's called the Friday Night Feast. This happens every Friday night, 6:30 Central. We'll cook up an entree, maybe a couple of snacks, show you how we do it, and then we spend our evening just chewing the fat with all our friends in the Hungry Horde. Hope y'all can tune in sometime. We'd love to have you over for dinner. You need help opening that?
Yeah, I thought you had scissors.
No, I asked you for them. You never brought them.
Oh, whoops.
Thought I fought with it with a knife. I used a Crocodile Dundee knife on it.
That's a little scary. How's everyone doing today on this Sunday? Let's see. I'm trying to keep up with like what all the days mean. So I know Friday was Black Friday. Mm-hmm. Saturday was Small Business Saturday. And Monday is Cyber Monday. Mm-hmm. What is Sunday then?
It's time for the Horde.
There we go.
It's the MS Journey.
So this is the salty grapefruit flavor. Mm-hmm. We'll try it once some more people pop in.
Is that what this one is too?
No, okay, that's the cherry chill.
Because I'm not a fan of grapefruit.
Right, because you were like, oh, you're going to have to have the grapefruit one. So we're just waiting for more people to pop in. If you're here, please go ahead and say hello. 1 o'clock, right? Not 1:30. It's 1, right?
Right.
Okay. We're making sure.
Mm-hmm. What do you need and why?
There's
schmutz.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Oh, there we go. Got some people chatting with us now. And then we'll try these, but I'm excited. And then Heath will talk about how things have been going with his MS. Yeah. Kendra's here.
Hey.
Excuse me. Hey, Kendra. She goes, hey, yo, glad to be recovering from surgery. Oh, good. Thank you for checking in. So how are you feeling? Are you at home now already? How's that going? And I hope you're getting plenty of electrolytes too. 22Q Cat said, wondering, hey, 22Q Cat, I wonder, I guess it didn't show all the chats, but she said, wondering, what's that goodness in that big mug, Shelly? This is the mug that he got from his company, but it's just coffee. That's it. Coffee and whipped heavy cream at the top. That's it.
What was this one called? Titled? Cherry what?
Cherry Chill. And then I see Sharon is here as well.
Howdy.
Welcome, y'all. So here is the cherry. It'd be better
if it was chilled. It's been sitting here for a little while.
Ooh, that's a good cherry flavor.
It is.
Yeah, I could see putting that in the freezer for a little bit, letting it get like a slushy. Oh, and if you squirted like a little bit of lime juice, it would be like a cherry limeade.
Oh,
that's really good. If y'all remember cherry limeades,
yes,
that's a good flavor. I was
telling you the story about the how I was always getting those cherries at Sonic.
Oh, yeah.
I would order those quite often, too. Theirs was really good.
I love cherry, y'all. Okay, here's the grapefruit one.
That's all you.
Well, I think you should still try it, especially if I'm letting you have some of my cookie.
Well, you have all of them, rest of them in the oven. Are they ready to come out yet?
It's
I don't hate it.
What I like is it's not too sweet. You still, like if you've ever gotten a really fresh grapefruit, how it will have that tart plus sweetness to it. That's what this is like. You get that little bit of tart and then you get a little bit of sweetness. So it's a good balance. Because sometimes I feel like when things are grapefruit or when they try to do sour flavors, they put too much sweetener. And it just tastes like a sweet whatever fruit it is, like lemon. It kills me when there's a lemon flavor that's sweet, because to me, lemon should be sour. So I think this is a good balance between the sour and the sweet. You get both of those. So yeah, I like that. I'm trying to remember how the Elements grapefruit, but I think I like this one a little bit better.
Nice.
Put that there. Okay. Kendra said, good idea with the electrolytes. I had surgery Monday, got out of hospital Thursday afternoon. Well, that's
Awesome.
good. That's a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I noticed like anytime we're under the weather, any of those, it like the electrolytes just really help. I feel like speed along recovery
Right.
and healing is just keeping up. So, like if Heath is under the weather or anything, I always make him do double the amount of electrolytes as he normally does. And I know when I had the surgery, I just started keto, and I know the thing that really helped me is I had yogurt, plain yogurt every single day. And I think just having that added protein really helped my body recover.
Right.
Don't know if you want the details. So it's up to you if you want to share.
Yeah.
Well, 22Q Cat said, any of that fudge left with the cranberries?
Yes. There's quite a bit left. I've already had one piece this morning. But I figure like if we pull it out right now, we're gonna eat the whole thing. That's what we almost did the other night. Like the day we made it, we're sitting there watching TV. I think that's when we were finishing up Schitt's Creek.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's whenever we almost ate the whole batch. That stuff is so good.
Yeah, it really is good, y'all. So,
but I was gonna say is, for the longest time there, I was drinking one of those energy drinks, the tall boys, like the Monster or not the Red Bull, but the what's the other brand? Rockstar or
yeah, Rebel
or Bang or whatever. The only time I've ever had Rebels when we go to Dutch. I've never bought them at the house. But anyways, I stopped all of those too, though, because I read or saw a little video where they're talking about how that could be actually bad for you, especially if you have MS. So I took the word at it and stopped, and now I drink at least one of these full of either salty or Relight every single morning.
Yeah.
And a couple of days, I'll have 2 or 3 of them, actually. Just depending on how I feel.
Oh, that's good. Sharon said, not a fan of cherry unless it's fresh ones. Ooh, I love a fresh cherry. Well, I know for a long time, Chris was always concerned, Chris Bear, that cherry would taste like, the cough syrup cherry, which is awful.
He's always told that story when they were doing it for keto chow. Then when they tried doing the cherry flavor, that's what they kept coming across. So I was kind of really surprised when they brought it out as salty.
But I think it's good as salty. To me, it tastes like kind of like a cherry Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, it really does.
Right. But I love cherries. Oh, that's awesome. Kendra said she insisted on a keto menu. Well, good. Nice. That is always so helpful. I think keto is great for any type of healing, like if you're sick or if you had surgery, because I think first of all, it focuses on clean ingredients or anti-inflammatory ingredients, and having that added protein and fats, I think really helps your body give it the building blocks it needs to heal itself.
That's very true. Because speaking of that, piggybacking on it, rather, we were talking about before we went live, and or actually the last couple of days, anyways, how when we first started keto, and I was extremely strict on it, especially right after I was diagnosed with MS, I felt like I was doing a lot better. My mobility issues, I wasn't having all these issues with my legs and stuff like that, with my knee going out on me and all. And I think what the culprit is, I was too lax. There was 2 issues, honestly. One, I was too lax with my diet. I was having too many cheat meals anyways. I didn't have it a whole day, but still, that was enough. And then I wasn't as diligent on doing my DDPY, because that really, really helped me, and especially at the very beginning. And I was very diligent on that. And here the last couple of months, I hadn't been. So that's why I'm rededicating myself to it.
Well, that's why I think earlier this year when we had the squat challenge, I feel like you were more mobile then
Right.
because you were doing those squats every single day and that was keeping those muscles going. And so yeah, sitting around too much and not doing the exercises
Yeah.
really does hurt. Mm.
So
Well,
basically, I booby trapped myself.
yeah. Well, it's easy to do. You can't be too hard on yourself when you think about it. Most of us ate crappy stuff for 40 years, 30, 40 years, sometimes more. And so we've been keto now for over 5 years. So if you think about it, it's not like a horrible
No, it's not.
when you think your body is still used to the majority of the time you ate crappy food. So it's really hard to break that system.
And the one thing I, for one, have definitely been struggling with is not going out to eat as often. We had said we're not going out for until we go on her. I mean, until we celebrate her birthday, and then we go on the road trip. But we had some errands to run the other day, and we ended up going to Buffalo Wild Wings because she actually thought we had an extra bonus, but it turns out there wasn't. What so much it was. Well, they had run a promotion that if the Texans football team had won, they were giving away 6 free wings. And we just read it as, oh, they're giving away free wings. But then my job also gave me a $10 bonus I can cash in for anything I want. I'm like, well, that's cool. Because Tuesdays is buy one, get one free at Buffalo Wild Wings. I have a $10, I can give you a $10 gift card, so that'll be cool. They give us a discount there. And then they're giving us free wings also, so we get a triple bonus. But I know it's first world problems. The Texans lost, so they didn't give us free wings there. But at least we got 2 bonuses on that.
Yeah, we ended up spending, it was only like $15 for us to eat lunch, and that was 15 wings. We did the 15, well, each, but I had 12 and Heath had 18.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 30 wings for $15.
Right.
I thought it was pretty good. That out of pocket is what it cost us. Do you mind? I know you've been getting up a lot, but I hear my jam, the cranberries, and I'll pop and just stir it there.
Let me get some more cookies while I'm up. Well, sure, I'll do that.
Okay, well, here's the plate. The cookies are in the oven. Auntie broke it in.
Stir it. This guy?
Yeah. And then also find my phone.
Is your ringer off?
Yeah, it should be there on the counter.
You just have to. You're right there on Facebook. Message me. Or message myself or whatever. And then I hear it ring and I can go find it.
Auntie Broken and Healing is here. She goes, hey, y'all. Hey, Shauna. How's it going today? It should be right behind you, babe, on the corner there. No?
It's not.
I know, but you're not looking. Thank you. There we go. Ooh, look at that. Sorry, y'all. Let's see. Okay. Good. Ooh, I earned a 25-cent reward. Oh my gosh, y'all. I'm rich.
That's what you're freaking about?
No.
That's why you had to find that phone.
See, we would have been, if we had gone to Buffalo Wild Wings, we would have been 26 days without going out to eat. So we are trying, right?
And then that's part of our problem too, is when we do go out to eat, it's very hard for me to not cheat a little bit.
Well, you say it's very hard, but for years you said it was easy.
I know, but what the problem was is I caved, and then that's the floodgates came off. Then the what do you call it, the parameters or whatever, the guard, or I let that guard down.
And now it's hard to put the guard back up, is what you're saying?
Yes. Like I said, I booby trapped myself.
Listen to this. Sharon has a new toy coming for Christmas, a CO2 laser. How fun is that?
That's awesome.
That'll be neat. And Tweet Q Cat said, I love that your job is always giving you stuff, Heath. That's awesome.
And in fact, speaking of that, the other day, I told my boss, thank you for that one of that $10 dish cash. And he goes, no, thank you. He goes, you earned that. That's why I gave it to you. He goes, it's not a gift. He goes, you earned that. He goes, just keep up the good work.
Are we sharing this cookie?
I guess we are now.
Ooh, that's hot.
I guess we're not.
So these are the cranberry cookies I put out a year ago. So we have a recipe video. What I did different today is because these are our big and thick cookies. I added pecans, walnuts, cranberries, and blueberries, plus Lily's white chocolate chips and Lily's salted caramel. So it's just kind of what they call them at those fancy cookie stores, the like everything or the kitchen sink or garbage cookie or whatever. That's basically what I did.
Well, I love too when there's one restaurant we've gone to before, and they have these big ones, the biscuits, and they call them cat head biscuits.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
kind of what these remind me of.
Right. Shada said, it's going okay. Sad my friend was going to see me today, but she got a stomach bug. Oh, that sucks. Aw. And it's that time of year. It seems like everybody's getting sick. Rickwood's here. Hey, Joe. She said, hello, Horde. Just putting in the turkey legs to roast. Wings are done. Pics to follow. Ooh, I can't wait to see the pics.
What did we say the other day that we saw? Somebody mentioned that. I think it may have been Dr. Fit and Fabulous posted a couple of years ago, actually. That we're so shocked. Then we have like 3 or 4 holidays right in a row that all celebrate sugar, sugar, sugar. And then wonder why we're sick this time of year.
Right? Well, that's true. Well, I like putting in, as you know, I like Max Miller, and he does a lot of history stuff. And yeah, a lot of times in the history, like some of them, they would have sweets, but it wasn't everything was sweet. You know, like a lot of times in the holidays, yeah, you had a sweet because it was a treat because you didn't have it the rest of the year. So you got to have a candied apple because, you know, apples were available, and then that would be the treat because you would only get one. You wouldn't be able to have, you know, one every single day from October 31st until January 1st. It was, you got one and you looked forward to it. You enjoyed it, and then you went on. Nowadays, it's just so much because everybody puts candy out on their desk, and, you know, lots of stores and everything are always giving away more and more. And that's what I feel like that's what is kind of
perpetuating it.
Yeah, because it's just sugar day in and day out.
I mean, because look, when you go to the grocery store on the way out, there's like at least 900. It seems like 900 different candy bars you can pick from.
Oh, right. All right. Oops, sorry. 22Q Cat said, don't know what y'all could do with that laser, but you sound excited. So good for you, Sharon, right? That'll be fun. And then, hot.
These are really good. Thank you. I am very lucky, y'all. She gives these spur of the moment ideas where she just wants to bake and cook or something like this.
Well, Sharon said, sorry, y'all. She said, yeah, I think I'll have a few less cats if they play with this one. Right. Wow. Yeah, they can't play with that laser printer. Well, talk to everybody and let them know, how is your multiple sclerosis going?
Wow.
Well, I mean, okay, think back a month ago.
It is a little better.
So you basically, yeah, I mean, yes, we did go out to eat the Buffalo Wild Wings. Is it the cleanest? No. You know, their sauces have some junk in it. But we do get the sauce on the side. But other than that, we haven't gone out to eat since, I think it was like November 5th or something when we went out. So because we haven't done it since then, and you've been working on doing your DDPY more diligently, right?
Yes, but a little thing on that too, though. I did go back doing what he calls the chair force, where I'm doing all these exercises sitting down.
And why did you do that?
It's getting too much of trying to do it standing up on this leg the way it's bothering me. So I'm just going to start over. That's why I named this episode as Adapt and Overcome.
Okay.
And then I'm getting mad at myself right now too, because I was looking, I was fixing to hold it up and show y'all that I'm still using that cane. I usually have been having it sit right here, but I see it leaning up right there against the countertop next to the oven. I keep doing that here lately, just forgetting where I put it.
But isn't that an improvement because you're not needing it, and that's why you keep leaving it places? That's true. Right?
Yeah, but I'd rather have it and not need it than, need it and not have it with me.
Well, yeah.
But, I don't know, I'm just a little hard on myself.
But I think that's a good shine because it's showing you don't need it because you're not relying on it, and you'll leave it, and then you're walking without it to do all kinds of other stuff.
I'm just very leery, very reluctant to walk out to the mailbox without it, or even go out in the garage without it. Because it's the step in and out of it. And, the step down, this was kind of bothering me. And then also, the week before, when I went to the store, remember I went like 3 or 4 different stores?
Yeah.
That just really wore me out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also when we went to your appointment. She had an eye doctor appointment at what do you call it?
Optometrist.
She went to the one at inside Sam's. And then we were debating whether I wanted to go through Sam's and shop for whatever we needed or just do it as a pickup order. And I told her, I said, you know what? I think it would honestly be better. 1, I don't want to walk the store. And 2, if we do a pickup, I can't buy impulse stuff. Mm-hmm. It'll narrow down what we actually spend.
Here, come closer to me because you're kind of off camera. There you go. And then fix your shirt. You see how it's hanging off one side? Mm. There you go. Yeah, because that's the shirt.
Renee got me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. All right, now put your arms back down.
No, they can't read it. Because the way I was posing for them, they could read the whole thing. You just read it, but they can't.
Okay, we'll do it. Let me see. I could read that so well now. Perfect. Well, come a little closer as you scoot away. There. Now they can read it better, see?
Yeah, they can read those first 3 words.
Yeah. Okay. You've showed them before.
All right.
And then you can pull up the bottom part if you want to. Yeah, see?
I think it's very clever. In fact, my neurologist was very impressed with it too. Yeah. Because it was the good part about it. Some folks won't even get the joke.
Right. So how else have you been feeling?
Very annoyed, honestly. I don't know if it's the MS or the weather or whatever, but my eyes have been watering constantly. It's super annoying. I feel like I need to go get up right now and get a Kleenex. I don't know why. My eyes are watering. And then I've noticed too, I'm drooling a lot now. And of course, I don't know if it's smart or not, but I went and asked Dr. Google, and they said, yeah, it's a common symptom with MS. And mine, the full MS I have, the full description of whatever is relapsing MS. Means it comes back. And so you'll have, issues that'll disappear and come back on you.
Yeah.
It'll relapse. But I just have, like I said, I think I need to have debate. I'm wanting to learn how to talk. 2, I need to just stay strict on my diet. But I was speaking with my boss about it too, because he has it also. He has MS also. And he was telling me how he's noticed that, when he doesn't eat a lot of sugar, it helps him a lot. But he did indulge a little bit over the holidays. But then he named off, the desserts he had. And I was like, well, that made me feel good too a little bit because the only dessert we really had was the fudge.
Yeah.
But he named off all these carbs he had, like mac and cheese and a couple other ones. Mashed potatoes. And I was like, well, there's sugar too, brother. He goes, what? There's no sugar in that. I said, no, it converts to sugar for you.
Right. It's a simple carb, so
Yeah.
it's going to be sugar.
Right. They need to boil, and the breads. I'll make sure do because that's what my big issue is. I'm still addicted to bread.
Yeah.
That's why when I was, caving it, most of the time it was with pizza. Or when we went to a couple of those Mexican restaurants, it was the tortillas, especially when they're fresh made in house. Yeah. That's why I always, when we do go out, I like going to Gringos because they have the pork rinds.
Yeah.
And then instead of the rice and beans, we have to pay extra, but they'll sub it out for a salad instead.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times it works out too, because then I'll end up having a salad left over and I'll have it the next day for my lunch.
Right. Now you can get the sauteed veggies at no extra charge, but it seems like usually you prefer a salad with your fajita meat. Well,
also, a lot of times with the sauteed veg, they also add corn in with it. I don't want that. That's not keto.
Yeah, that's the only thing. I have to remember to tell them no corn. Shada said, yeah, we don't want that, with the cats playing with the thing.
Right.
And she goes, okay, go in mobile so I can figure out something somewhat easy to cook, eat, or reheat. I hope you made a good choice. And then Sharon said, right now we're trying to get in production of kitchen doors.
Oh, nice.
Tiling is beginning soon. Finally have that design finalized. Wow.
So from what I understand, where you're always talking about you're working on this, that, and the other thing at the house, are y'all basically just remodeling the whole house?
Yeah.
The bottom?
That's what it sounds like.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. Rickwood said, question, do you ever go back and look at changes that happened over time? Have you looked at the progression of MS and see if things have improved?
Yes and no. Like I was telling the boss, because we call it a one-on-one. We do it once a week. Everybody in the company does it. I mean, you have a one-on-one with your direct supervisor. Well, mine usually ends up being on a Friday afternoon with him. But anyways, I was telling him how it's either 2 or 3 of them. I know at least last 2 MRIs, no new lesions.
Yeah.
So that's very, very promising. So I think I need to really buckle down and stay more strict to make sure I don't get more lesions coming on.
Right.
Because I hate taking an MRI. I end up always falling asleep, and they have to do it again. They say I move when I'm supposed to lay still, and when I fall asleep, I start moving.
Yeah. Well, but also looking back, because it was interesting where actually Renee had commented on a video, the Asta meat slicer. She said in the background you could see your walker. So I think that's a good thing that, you're true. Using a cane, but you're not using a walker, and you're still able to get around. You're still able to drive.
Right. That's what, yeah. Because, I did have that one time, or I guess I've had it a couple times, where I got what they call a drop foot. It was not so bad with my left foot. I could still drive, but it was really, really bad when it happened to my right foot because I couldn't control the gas.
Yeah.
That's when I had to have my mom chauffeur me around for a while.
Yeah, so I think sometimes you forget.
The other thing, when I had my last meeting with my neurologist, he did tell me he's recommending I go see a neurophysical therapist. I just got too busy last week because the only time I can really call him is on Tuesday when I'm off. And I just got too busy doing other stuff instead. It's my own negligence, my own fault. But Tuesday, I'm planning first thing in the morning. I'm going to call him and start to set that up.
Yes.
And then also, he did tell me to get this over-the-counter cream and start applying it to that leg also, that knee area.
And see if that helps.
Yeah. And we should have done that while we were out. We just didn't. I don't know why.
Keto Simple. Hey, Dustin.
Hey, brother.
Said at the tire shop, the middle child got a nail in their tire. Oh, that sucks. He's got a 2024 Kia, and they don't have spare tires. Oh man.
Oh, that would have been a no-go for me when you were even looking at buying it.
We can submit the receipts for today as we did pay for the tire and rim insurance. Oh, well, that's helpful at least.
I'm wild.
Caden's here. Hey, Caden said, hey, Heath and Shelly, hope you guys are doing well. Kind of chilly here today. Had a question about nuts. I don't eat any kind of nuts. Husband loves them. I was reading an article on how many of them contain oxalates. Does that bother you at all? And what is the issue with this?
Yes, it does. mainly the ones that mess with me the most is almonds, and which is really really hard, cumbersome for me because at least like 90% keto baking and cookies and stuff like that, and like even the chocolate,
pizza crust,
the pizza crust and the bar. That's still baking, but in the bars and stuff like that in the stores, one of the first ingredients is always almond flour.
Mm-hmm.
That messes me up. We found that out by accident, and that's when I had to have an EMT come to the house 3 times to give me steroid injections to get me through it. And then also I've always been taking a pill for my MS. It's called a guajillo, but I originally was prescribed 7 milligrams. But after the flare up, and we figured out I was allergic to almonds and peanuts, my doctor bumped it up to 14 milligram, and that seemed to really help. When I cut out the almonds and peanuts and cashews.
Yeah, well, basically anything that's not considered a tree nut. So
Right.
peanuts and cashews are actually legumes, and that's generally why they're higher in oxalates because they're not a real nut. And then almonds, I think the almonds are actually high in lectins. And so with him, this is the problem. And I see the last question is he has no allergies. It doesn't seem to have adverse effects, but is that a long-term issue or could be a problem? It's kind of like everything in moderation. Some people won't have any issues with oxalates, and some people they do. But what was happening at the time, as we're keto, we had gotten these bars that were really good that were all almond flour and peanut butter, and we were going from sharing one a day to we were having each our own bar twice a day. And then we'd got some pizza crust that were made with almond flour, and I think just all of that, having it that much on a continual basis, that after a couple weeks, that's when his MS symptoms really were flaring. But remember, MS is an inflammation disease, and so that could be why it really triggered him. So if your husband doesn't have MS or any type of autoimmune condition, he might not feel it. And if he's not having again, when you think about when you make a flour, like an almond flour or peanut butter flour, you're having to use so many to create, a cup of almond flour. I forget how many almonds is in 1 cup. So that's what causes the issue. But if you're just having like a handful of raw nuts or roasted nuts, I don't think it's going to impact as much as when you're then turning those same things into flours and butters, and you're adding it to so many things that you're having on a daily basis.
But
I hope that helped.
But the hard part too, they say also, the 2 people with MS do not always have the same symptoms, so it's kind of hard to narrow it down. It's all like trial and error kind of thing.
Sharon said changing the humidity level is what could be making your eyes water because they're trying to compensate. Right. That's true. It has gotten really cool here.
Yes.
So that might be it, Sharon. Sharon said, yes, the downstairs has been mostly all been remodeled since we moved here. Wow, kitchen was a gut and redo. That's my goodness.
That's almost what we did here. Huh?
You're awesome for doing that because that is so much. And they do most of it themselves. We didn't.
Yeah, we hired a lot of it done.
Sharon said, so question. How often per week are you now eating sweet potatoes? They are listed relatively high in oxalates.
Oh, are they? I didn't know that.
But how many are you having, though? Because we go in spurts.
If I'm eating them, because my plan for this week, I'm having 1 a day. 1 at lunch, usually. And then we had originally planned to have, we usually had picked up 2 or 3 of them where we're going to slice them up and make into French fries tonight, but we changed what we're having tonight.
We changed our menu for tonight. So it goes in spurts because I bought those
a week ago.
Yeah, over a week ago, and we've only used a couple in the past week.
Right.
So, yeah, there might be something he needs to cut back on. I hadn't bought any for a couple weeks before these, and I only got them because they were so cheap.
Right.
And we still have a half left, so that's good.
But yeah, that was my plan because she got a really good deal on some, they call them pork ribeyes. They're really, really thick pork chops.
They're good looking.
And it was awesome too because it was a 6-pack. And so that's just a completely, it's enough for the week for all my lunches. And so I was planning on having a baked potato with it. I say baked, I actually do it in the microwave. I stab it with a fork or a knife several times, open it up, I just nuke it for, I hit 555 and then let it go. And pull it out, cut it in half, top with some butter, some sour cream, and salt and pepper.
Yeah, so maybe that's something we can cut those out and see, and do at least not have them for a while.
Right. Well, then you're gonna have to eat those then. If I'm gonna cut them, I'm gonna cut them. We took one today, the biggest one out of the batch, diced it up and threw it in. We're making a green pepper pork stew,
a green chili stew.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
And so but that's going to be split. But that's probably going to last 2 or 3 nights.
Yeah, because I was planning on hoping I'd have a couple of leftovers.
Yeah. Laura S. is here. Hey, Laura. She goes, hi, everyone. Hi. On the road and service is spotty. Well, be safe. Yeah. Kate said, right, but he eats lots of pecans, and I did some research. Pecans are very high in oxalates. I don't think so.
I thought we were doing pecans instead, because we started making even pecan butter instead of doing peanut butter.
Because I thought
that's one of the ones what we said, the pecans and peanuts. I mean, pecans and walnuts.
No. Peanut butter. That's all good here.
Well, thank y'all all for looking into that. Y'all are amazing.
Yeah, so almonds, Brazil cashew, and candle nuts.
I don't think I've ever even had candle nuts before.
Are higher level oxalates. Let's see. Well, macadamia nuts, but those are high in carbs, are lowest oxalates. But I thought I had read, because who is it? What's that doctor?
Westman?
That that does all the low oxalate diet.
Oh, I don't remember.
Let's see here.
Y'all, that's just, I'm truly blessed that y'all care enough to even go look that up for me. When you want to log into everything?
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, pecans are considered low oxalate. Yeah. That's what I thought. Pecans.
And pistachios too, nice.
Yeah, so this one is saying macadamia is the lowest. Pecans, pistachios, and walnuts are the lowest oxalate. Because what I was researching way back is it was basically true nuts are lower in oxalates. But so peanuts, now I don't know exactly on what exactly it was with peanuts, but I know peanuts and cashews are legumes, so they're not really in nuts. So that's one reason why he couldn't have them. And then almonds are supposed to be high in oxalates. She said, in this article, I was looking at several things, especially nuts, and it's amazing how many things have oxalates, and all nuts have them.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things you're not going to be able to get rid of the oxalates. I don't think that's why they say it's a low oxalate diet, not a no oxalate diet. Right. I mean, I guess, maybe you could get low, but I would think it would depend. If your husband is having oxalate issues, then yeah, that's something you wouldn't look into. But if he's not having those issues, like, is he strict keto, or is he like just eating regular food and having the nuts? If he's not doing like a strict diet, like keto, or what do they call it, the low map, or carnivore and different things, then I wouldn't be so worried about oxalates, if that makes sense to me. if he was being like strict keto or carnivore and he's still having issues, then yeah, look at that. But I think, just my thought process, if somebody's not even watching that stuff and they're eating regular breads and everything else, that's where you should start, because we know gluten has a bigger impact than I would say oxalates would. Laura said, we love the ribeye chops. That's the one I like of pork chops. Well, see, I'd never seen them labeled as ribeye chops before.
I just call them pork chops.
Right. I've seen lots of pork chops, but not ribeye pork chops. So when I saw these at H-E-B and they were marked down, I asked Heath, I said, hey, there's 6 ribeye chops in here for $8.54. I could get that, or I could get a whole pork butt for the same price. What would you rather? And you were like, the ribeye chops.
Yeah, because it's so easy. She's found them before. She got a couple of weeks ago. She got like 3 or 4 of them, and that whole package I can do all at once in the air fryer. And then I have a big oval shaped container I can store them in, and just pull them out one at a time and reheat them for my lunch. And it's just like perfect.
Oh, this is a good idea. Rickwood said, slice up your sweet potato and the fries, cook them, then freeze them, and then have them once or twice a week and not every day. But that's what I felt like you were doing. Just maybe once or twice a week, you would have a sweet potato with something.
I know, but here lately, I've been having, like I said, especially those where you got the last bag, you got a bunch of big ones. I would have, they're kind of small. I'll just have a loaded baked potato, sweet potato, as a side dish. Because it's quick and easy and throw it together for my lunch.
Did you have one today with your lunch?
No, I did not.
Okay, what about yesterday's lunch?
I don't remember one. I don't even remember what I had.
You had the stew. That's what you've been having for all week.
Yeah. Well, I had cut up like, I think 2 of them to put them in it. There was a couple of them
in the stew?
Yeah.
For the whole week?
Right.
Okay. But yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, Dr. Gudry. Thank you, Rickwin.
Thank you.
That's who it was. Kate said, I just asked Siri, and Siri said pecans are high in oxalates. Well, I think Siri's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, because no, they're considered, and I was pretty sure, but I would go, Dr. Gudry is the one who's done all of the lectins and oxalates and everything. And so he will, he has like all of those suggestions. But, and I think that's the thing, is there's so much out there where people say different things, but.
That's why I said earlier too, I made a mistake of asking Dr. Google. Because if you follow Google too much, you're going to end up, it'll just tell you have whatever, you know?
Yeah,
what's that one they always said it was in a house. He always has patients always end up lupus. If you follow it, all of them end up, if you follow Google, type in whatever, if you follow it back in there, it'll end up you have lupus. It seems like.
Right.
So it's kind of dangerous just to ask Dr. Google. But I know for a while there, like I said, when I was being really strict, I wasn't having the sweet potatoes. Because we consider those non-keto, actually. So.
Well, it's not that we consider them non-keto. We considered because we were being very strict in our total carb count. Because for several years, we only went by strict total carbs in a day. So we didn't want to expend it on a sweet potato for the day. So instead, we would have then some of the other stuff.
Right.
More bang for your buck. Yeah, let's see. I thought, okay. Yeah, so Dr. Gundry, I think, is the one for lectins, but he said, so unless you're predisposed to oxalate issues, like you get lots of kidney stones, go ahead and, like, kale is really high in oxalates, dark chocolate is high. He's like, but go ahead and eat those. And if you're unsure, if you have any questions concerning it on your health, speak with your doctor. So again, I think it's in the dose on, how much. If you're constantly having, like he says, the highest in oxalates are spinach, rhubarb, beets, black tea, and chocolate. Yeah, but And kale. I remember kale, but that's like in the spinach family. So a lot of those we don't really eat anyways.
And I did stop with my black tea. I switched over to green tea now.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when we go to Dutch, I always order the green tea there too.
Yeah, Sharon said I have to be careful and not do much. Had a kidney stone once. See, so if you are prone to kidney stones, then yeah, I probably should limit some of those oxalate foods. Okay, so please don't listen to me. I'm new, and that's why I'm asking questions. But ask Siri right now, because I just asked Siri on my phone. Said we're high. Okay. Yeah, I think.
No, but thank you. We're not. Yeah, no,
we're not.
It helps the dialogue. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
I don't think we're getting on to you.
No, and it's good to ask questions because there is so much.
A lot of times there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Right, because even when it comes to keto, you can Google keto, and like there's one guy that shows up on my reels all the time that does nothing but poop on keto, but he's okay like with other things. It's just because he's like one of those everything in moderation and you'll be healthy. So there's so much information out there that you never know who's going to have the right information. But I remember when we went through that's when I found out that basically legumes are high in oxalates because it was the legumes. So the peanuts and the cashews were the oxalate issue. And then I also took away almonds because they're very high in lectins, which for heat, lectins those are the type that can target the nervous system. And I think that's why he was having issues, is because those high lectins and almonds was hurting or causing inflammation for his nerves. And then the oxalates are the legumes. Yeah, so if you have kidney disease, they usually recommend low oxalate diet. So again, this is by WebMD. They're saying spinach, soy, almonds. Oh, so this one says they're all high in oxalates too. Okay.
Potatoes.
Yeah, regular potato, beets, navy beans, raspberries.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Because I've been eating a lot of raspberries too. So we thought they were clean. Okay.
Well, they are clean. Many fruits contain oxalates, but raspberries are considered high per cup. You've never eaten a cup of raspberries.
Sometimes.
No, and dates, and you don't ever have dates. And the only time we've gotten raspberries is when they were in season and on sale.
But still.
Yeah, but you don't have kidney stones.
Right, but
you've never had one.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, but no, that's good to find out. Rickwood said, Heath, we are looking for your health. Can't have you not here to lead the horde.
Aww,
that's right.
Thank you. You don't make me cry.
2HQ Cat said, I don't have MS, but I will say that excessive oxalates caused me severe inflammation in my neck. Oh my gosh. So I can't imagine oxalates can be very good for your MS, Heath, period. I miss almonds, peanuts, etc. Yeah, that's what I think.
I miss peanuts.
Yeah, and I think it's where you have to figure out what works for you. I think you start, like if your husband, Caden, if he's not even keto, the first thing he needs to do is get rid of sugar and gluten, as we know that most people have issues with those. And then go from there, because there's a lot of people, even in right here in the horde, there's a lot of people who have no problems having almonds and almond flour. But again, I think it's where it's the poison is in the dose. I think, if you like, I'll have some Brazil nuts every day. I have 4 or 5, but they're high in selenium, which is great for the thyroid. But I'm not having Brazil flour, which is going to be using, like 50 Brazil nuts, so there's a difference there, having just a handful versus having the flour. And what else are you doing? And then you just see if you're having issues with it, then take that out. And that's why we discussed a couple Sundays ago that it's so easy to make all of the, to do all the, okay, we're going to cut all of this out. And it's like, okay, take it one thing at a time. Like, so for Heath, what we have focused on is try not to eat out, therefore not going off plan, not having inflammatory oils. And again, we're only, if we don't count Buffalo Wild Wings, which a lot of people on keto go to Buffalo Wild Wings, no issues. And again, that's not the cleanest, but technically it would be considered keto. We've never said going to Buffalo Wild Wings was not keto.
Right.
And so if we went by that, you're at 25 days of not going off plan, not having, anything that was bad. And then we could go after a month. If you're still feel like you're not seeing enough progress, then you could cut back on other things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because remember the other day you messaged me, you were out running errands, and you're like, well, should I go to this place, this little gas station, or should I go to Whataburger to use the bathroom?
Because
I was like, well, you gotta go to Whataburger and you can get me some onion rings. You're like, no, we're not. No, you're doing too good right now.
That is one thing I will say. So yesterday, I took Sam to get his vet shops or his vet visit, which is a really good deal. I told some people last night in the cook along. But for Sam, for all of his vaccinations for the whole year and a year's worth of the flea and heartworm treatment was only $240. Oh, you gonna stir that up for me too? And that's everything for the whole year. That's all I'm out on Sam for the whole coming year is $240. Well, after we left there, plus I put the new gentle leader on it. Him, which is it's a leash that goes over his nose so that he doesn't pull because he has a habit of yanking. Well, he weighs 75 pounds, which actually from his medical records, that's also why I like going back there because I have all of his medical records from 21 forward. When he first went in to the shelter, he was at 62 pounds, and then a week later he dropped down to 55. So he's obviously having, some real like shelter syndrome going on. Well, then now he's at 75. So he's basically gained 20 pounds by being with me. And they did say, yeah, he's a little chunky, which makes it easier to give him shots. And to see his veins and everything, because the tech who worked on him remembered him. She was like, you got him from here. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, yeah, he had like basically a twin brother. And I was like, well, I knew he had a brother. And she pulled it up and she goes, yeah, because I remember when they came in, they looked almost identical. And his brother's name was Boyd. What are you looking for?
Those gloves. I just had them. I carried them over and sewed them down.
And she was like, yeah, they looked a lot alike. And she said, but they were both very nervous, anxious dogs, and they kind of fed off each other. And she goes, because she was kind of sad when they didn't get adopted together. She goes, but then she thought, well, it's probably better because they fed off of each other's nervous, anxious energy. And I said, yeah, I have him with Delilah. Delilah's like, she reminds me of that cartoon where it's the old lady. What was her name? Shauna knows because Shauna's called her that before. Shauna, who's the person, that old lady comedy sketch where, she's always saying stuff. That's like Delilah. She's not anxious. I don't think Delilah's ever been anxious. And she's not a nervous dog. She's very relaxed, confident dog, And so I think it's good for him because she kind of keeps him level where he's not, he'll get anxious sometimes and then she just like nips at him and tells him, calm the F down. And then he does. But so after yesterday, so he didn't like the whole gentle leader, but he finally got used to it. So on the way home, I promised him a pup cup because I always get Delilah one too, and Delilah has no issues. Well, I guess Sam, because he's nervous, or it's the dairy. Because a pup cup, if you don't know, it's just whipped cream with a little doggy treat. And so it's a lot of whipped cream, and I don't give them any dairy otherwise. And so that, I don't know if it's just he was worked up or if it was all the medications. But yeah, that didn't stay down. So this is a long story. So I had to then get home. It was really hard for me to clean. This is like why I don't have kids because it was really hard, y'all. it was all in the backseat floorboard. And so I started cleaning it and I had to wash it off. And finally I was just like, oh, I think I need to go get the car washed.
Detailed.
Well, I couldn't get a detail because detailing is like $200 to get your car detailed. Isn't that crazy? So I didn't get them detailed, but I did get it like thoroughly washed, and I paid for the floorboards to be shampooed and everything.
And you said the second time this happened with him, right?
Yeah, it's happened another time. So I don't know if it's nerves or just the dairy itself. So I think from now on, I'll just get them to give the little
cookie
treat and not the whipped cream, because I don't think he can handle that very well. And I don't know where I was at when I came up with this story.
Oh, because I was telling about how you had to go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, so I'd taken Sam, then we brought him home, and even though I did my grocery shopping on Friday, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get my car cleaned. So I went and got the car cleaned, and then while I was out, because I didn't see a restroom there in where they clean the cars, and
not a public one at least.
Right. And here's the thing too, so many car washes nowadays are like have to do it yourself. And so a lot of the car washes I was pulling up, like, yeah, you would go through a thing where they wash the outside, a machine does, and then you could go and vacuum it yourself. And you have to pay like $25 to do that. And I'm like, I don't want to pay $25 and I have to do half of it myself. Right. Like, I could just do all of it myself at home. I have the brush and the supplies. I can wash my own car at home.
If you're going to pay for it, you're going to do it all.
Yes. So I had to find a place, and they were pretty reasonable. And I went there, and yeah, they actually hand washed everything. So they didn't put it through a machine. They hand washed the outside. They hand cleaned everything on the inside, hand shampooed the carpets and everything.
Walter White.
Right? Probably. I mean, it probably was. It probably was. Let's just be honest. It was, yeah. So did all that, and then I was out and about. I was like, oh my gosh, I really need to use the restroom. And wow, this is a long story to get to this. But I really need to use a restroom. And I was out, and banks are already closed. That's my preferred, is you go inside a bank. They have really clean restrooms. So if y'all are out during banking hours, find your bank if you need to use a restroom.
The next two best ones I found was a grocery store.
Yeah, some.
Or a bank also.
I just said bank.
No, I'm saying a hotel.
Yeah, if you go to the lobby of a hotel, that's always an option too. Right. But I was out, and I'm like, okay, where am I going to go? So there was a Circle K, which looked pretty new. In the area I was in, it's not like the nice Woodlands area. So you don't want to just stop anywhere because you just never know. And so I was like, okay, or there's a Whataburger next to it. And I was like, because I really got to go. So Heath was like, well, Whataburger over Circle K. So I go to Whataburger, and I forgot they were single stalls. So of course there was somebody in there, and I was like, oh goodness, please hurry. But the whole time I'm smelling it, y'all. It was hard. I was like, oh my gosh, it smells so good. And he's like, well, get me some onion rings. I'm like, first of all, by the time I get home, your lunch will be over, and those onion rings wouldn't be any good. I was like, so no. I was like, no, I'm just going in here and using the restroom. But it was really hard. But I actually was proud of myself that I pulled out of that parking lot and didn't buy a single thing from them.
Right.
I was like, that is good, Shelly. You did good. Okay, Kate said, husband is not strict at all. As a matter of fact, on Sunday, he has sugar in his coffee. Oh. However, I'm on the other hand extremely strict. He's already at goal weight. He can get away with a lot of crap. Well, yeah. And the thing, though, is, getting away with it on the exterior, you still have to wonder about the interiors. So just make sure y'all are getting your blood work done every year and checking on that.
See, that's part of the thing, too, is it doesn't really affect me weight-wise. In fact, I feel like I've lost weight because my clothes are fitting different. I've even I need to add another hole to my belt to tighten it up.
Wow.
But it's just how I feel is what I'm really focused on. Because honestly,
Yeah.
I don't think it's been I think 2 weeks since I weighed in to even check and see.
Yeah, was that the last time was when you were at the doctor's office?
I end up with a week later, the next day at home.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a couple weeks. But yeah, if he's not having issues, then I wouldn't worry about that. And sometimes I think what we kind of experienced, which is why I feel like we were a little more lax this year, is because for basically 5 years, because we met 5 years in February, I felt like we were so strict and so concerned with everything that we just kind of let loose. Like we were too strict for a while. So I think sometimes I find that myself, I go into this very type A where everything has to be just right and so strict and no, can't have this, can't have that, and doing it. And then finally, after so long, it's just like, yeah, I kind of snapped a little bit and was like, okay, so I have to find like that middle ground where I'm not being so stressed about things. And I know I will get like that, but I've seen other people who get overly stressed on things.
They call it diet fatigue almost. Right?
Yeah, diet fatigue. But I'm saying like some people get overly stressed about everything to where it is almost like an eating disorder when you get so overwhelmingly strict where all you're doing is thinking about, oh, did I do this? Did I do this? Then I need to weigh this down to the gram and I need to do this and this. It's like your life shouldn't be revolving around what your food choices are.
Right.
Your life, food choices should just be part of your life. So you shouldn't stress yourself out over, oh my gosh, like we went to Buffalo Wild Wings. Well, their sauce has at least maltodextrin, probably has some canola oil or crap in the sauce itself, even if you get it on the side. Or if you get their seasoning, some of the seasonings might have some wonky stuff in there. So it's either, well, are you going to live where you're like, oh, I can't ever do that? Or are you just going to, hey, sometimes those things happen, but I make the best possible choices on any given day and just, accept that, I did the best that I can and kind of let loose and not be so stressed over it.
Well, I think part of my problem too, though, when I get down about and like sad and everything, I feel like because we were so strict, and when I let off the reins, let loosened up and everything, I'm basically undoing everything that I did do right. Because that's why I'm having these issues with my knee and stuff. And remember, that's when I found out the thing with the aspartame and the diet sodas. That's when it started affecting my arm. When I cut those out, it went away and hadn't come back.
Right. But that's also why I say focus on one thing at a time and not try to make 20 changes at once.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm mad at myself because I'll let myself go.
But I don't feel like it's you untangled or because you still were healthy and making the right choices then. So I don't feel like this unravels everything. Mm-hmm. It just kind of puts a pause in it.
Right.
Because I think if you hadn't have been so strict, how worse would you be today? You know what I mean?
I don't even know if I'd still be alive, honestly. Then.
Right. And Kate said, men are lucky. Women's bodies are more complicated. Right. Isn't that the truth? She said, husband doesn't have any issues. I have asthma. Oh, goodness. So I keep things low inflammatory. And I was considering having some nuts in my diet. And then I read this article and I decided against it. Well, then you have to decide what's best for you. And again, it's always like they say, the N equals 1, because you might be able to have a handful of pecans or walnuts. And again, it's a handful. But if you're having, you're making flour out of it and everything else out of it, then you're getting overboard. But I think if you have a cup, you could try like a serving of it and just wait a week and see if you have any issues from that. Then you'll know, right? And then you can just, keep like a log and figure out, is that actually causing you any issues if you have it?
I was really sad about it too when I figured out, because I love peanut butter. And I'm a big fan of keto brick. And my favorite brick that they make is their peanut butter brick because the texture on that thing is immaculate. But not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I don't even eat the peanut butter keto chow just to make sure.
Right. Or the keto brick. Sharon said for me, when she has oxalate dumping, she gets very itchy on her legs and slightly broke out.
Oh,
that's good to know.
Yeah.
Rick would say the problem with AI is someone has to tell them to begin with that it depends what angle they follow. I find AI sticks to the AMA most of the time.
Yes, that's true.
Probably.
That's the standard.
Rickwood said Dr. Elizabeth Bright also pushes getting rid of oxalates, but I take her with a grain of salt, as most people are not as sick as her patients.
All right.
Well, and that's what I mean. It really is an N equals 1. If you're not having any other issues, like, he doesn't have anything with almonds or peanut butter anytime. I will still have some peanut butter because I don't have those issues when I eat peanut butter. But again, I'm not having like these cookies, of course, because I eat don't have any peanut butter in it. But if like I have like what is it, the Think keto bars that have peanut butter in them, I don't have any issues from having one of those. But I'm not having it
a case.
Constantly. So that's why, I push off having that. Sharon said, my research about oxalates is that they do cause a lot of joint pain. It's like having little spiked balls in your system. I like that explanation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. And I think that's why it bothers Heath when he again, because we were having so much almonds and almond flour. And when we talked about it back then, when we found out it was the almonds and the almond flour, the peanut butter, several other people mentioned, they were like, I never even thought about that. So I stopped eating all of these different keto products that are made, or keto desserts that are made with almond flour, and I'm feeling better. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the thing, is sometimes this is just the issue with, when you go and you follow extreme dieting, like people consider keto extreme dieting, right? Is sometimes you're going from eating basically whatever you wanted, right? Before keto, I think most of us just ate whatever we felt like eating for the day. We didn't.
Whatever, whenever.
Right. Whatever, whenever, no restrictions at all. And then you go into keto and you're like, oh, I can't have all that. But guess what? I could just use almond flour for everything that had flour in it before. Right. And so then you're still eating all of those foods that weren't really healthy or nutritious. You're just now replacing wheat flour with almond flour. And then we overdo it because we weren't having that much almonds before.
Right.
And now we're having so much that, I think a lot of people.
One problem for another.
Right. A lot of people were having issues because of that. And it really, and I know this is probably like a lot of people wouldn't agree with me, but I really feel like if you're going to be keto for health reasons, you really need to look at it from a whole food perspective and not think of it as, how do I replace this? Yeah. How do I replace or replicate this old food that we know is not nutritious or good for us? That's why we liked it, because we were like, oh, this is so good. But it doesn't do anything nutritious wise. And we're trying to replicate that in keto. It's like, no, you have to change that. If you're truly doing keto for health, you have to look at it as, what am I eating that's going to provide me the nutrition that my body needs? Doing these replicated videos of a Twinkie using almond flour is not adding nutrition to your diet, and it's not adding nutrition to your body. So you really should be focused on getting good proteins and good low carb veggies in your diet if you choose to, and then go from there. But I really think our issue, and it always has been, when we are eating keto products.
Right. Well, I also had to change my thinking about it also. Until I discovered that I was allergic to almonds and peanuts, I would always say, I can eat whatever I want. I'm just choosing not to have this. Mm-hmm. That's the way I programmed myself for it.
Yeah.
But now I say I cannot have almonds and peanuts.
Yeah, because he has such an issue with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That to me tells me I'm allergic to them.
Yeah. Lisa's here. She said, hey y'all. Oh, hey, Lisa. And she saw Joe's turkey wings and delicious. Mm. And Lisa said, he is solid muscle, Sam. I'm saying he's that's 75. He is. 22Q Cat. Oh my gosh, poor Sam. Before you saved his life, lucky pup. I know, poor baby. Sam be living the good life with his pup cups. I know, poor baby. But I think overall, earlier, because part of that is they give a dewormer as part of their yearly vaccination. And it's a pill. He spit that thing out. I was like, you spit that out?
Put it in his food or something?
Well, what I did is I had some peanut butter, nothing else. There's just peanuts in there, again, for me. But I took some of that and I coated his dewormer in that, and then he ended up eating it. But that was a struggle too, because he was like, "Oh, I don't like that." It was sticking it out. I couldn't get it down his throat. I would open up his mouth. So this is how gentle he is. Like I could open up his mouth, pull his tongue down, and I was throwing this seed back there, but then he was able to like get it out. So
he's stubborn.
Yeah, he's stubborn, but he, let me do that. A lot of dogs I know wouldn't even allow you to put your hands in their mouth, but I've always been able to do that with my dogs. Maybe just because, I don't know, I've just always been like, man, I'm non-threatening, and I'm their favorite person.
Right.
And she said, "Oh no, Sam, I know, poor little Sammy, poor baby." That's why I didn't give, because I was like, settled down, no issues then. So this morning's when I gave him the dewormer. I was like, maybe it was just too much yesterday. Maxine, thank you, Shauna. I knew Shauna would know. Yes, Delilah is very much Maxine, right?
Yes,
yeah. Rickwood said, "Poor Sam, you'll have to prepare a pup cup at home."
Right.
I know, poor baby. Tweet Cat said, "I'm weird about using public restrooms, germaphobe.
I don't blame you.
So I don't usually do it, but it's good to know the better places if it's an emergency."
That's why I had to find all the places that are out in public, because the only option on the job site was a porta can. That's even worse.
That's the worst thing in the world.
I stand up in those, and only in dire emergencies will I sit down in one.
Oh no, I'd rather just go out in the forest than a porta can. I can't do it, but sometimes like I'm out and I was just like, I really needed to go.
Well, I really hate too when you pull into a business, you think they're open, and then they're either closed or they don't have a public restroom.
Oh, I know. That's why I was like, oh my gosh. And that's why I would have used it like at that hand wash place, but I didn't see a public one. Yeah, so that was like, ooh. But yeah, that I hate using them in public, but I think I'm getting older, because used to I could just go right before I'd leave, and then I'd be home like 10 hours later, and I'd never used a public one. But nowadays, Kendra said, "Give yourself credit for what you're doing right." Yes, thank you, Kendra. Exactly. We shouldn't stress out, because I know, we are coming up on 6 years. Over that time, I've known people who were mentally upset because they went out to eat and they thought they ordered something that was keto compliant, and then found out later it wasn't. Like Heath was saying, Dustin was even talking about the place they went out to eat kept giving him the real Pepsi instead of the diet or the no, whatever, the zero, whatever they are. And it's like, I've known people before that when that's happened, like they almost had a nervous breakdown because they were like, oh my God, it's like, you can only control what you can control. If something happens outside of your control, it shouldn't devastate your whole day. You accept it and say, you know what, that happened. It's not the worst thing in the world. I made good choices before, and I'm going to make better choices after. And that's just how it's going to go. And then you don't, then just move on. It's done with, right? Or like my late stepfather used to say, because, my mom's a shopper, right? And he was like, there's no use getting upset. The money's already been spent. So we just move on from here. And that's kind of The same thing when it comes to food. If you went off plan, especially now with the holidays, if you went off, don't beat yourself up. Don't get guilty over it. Don't, give yourself like whippings for it. Just, you know what? It already happened. It's done. It's over with. Move on. And the least we give into fretting over that, and the faster we can actually move on from those things. And then Kendra was saying, give yourself credit for what you're doing right, Heath.
Right.
Shauna said, yes, cutting out almonds and almond flour helped me a lot. Right. It's just, we really notice those things that we don't think of until afterwards, right?
I'm going to turn this down to low.
Okay, good.
You're going to kind of smell it. I don't want it to burn.
I'm making cranberry, blueberry, no sugar jam or preserves. That's what's cooking because I got blueberries on sale yesterday.
And y'all, I'm already telling her I want some of these on my pork chop tomorrow for lunch. I'm going all the way to low.
Yeah. Twitch Q Cat said, and this is one thing I love about you, Shelly and Heath. None of your recipes, etc., ever contain almond flour. I substituting pork panko, etc., and I love that. Plus, they're delicious. Thank you. Yeah, that's when we found that out. That's why we never use any of that in there.
We'll see. Part of our thing for us too, though, and we've applied it to the channel and everything. One of the first things we did together, we both love to cook. We love cooking together. So, like, especially when we first went keto, we were trying to replicate recipes and stuff. Because, it's well known I love going out to eat. But I want to, and I see a restaurant putting out a certain entree or something like that, like, well, we can keto that. Mm-hmm. We can keto this. And that's one of the fun things to do. It's like a puzzle.
Yeah.
Trying to unlock it and trying to, fix it that way.
Yeah.
And then we just applied that same philosophy to cutting out the almond flour. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why it's so easy for us.
Well, like the cookies. Sometimes I think it's actually better because when I've had, like when we've gone to keto events and I've tried like a keto cookie and it's made with almond flour, I like it with the pork panko. I think to me, because I like a chewy, moist cookie, and that's what the pork panko does, where almond flour, I feel, dries things out more.
Well, another thing we noticed
is
too,
my thinking.
With your coach, your diet coach and everything, we're telling you for a while there, it's okay to have a planned deviation. So one of the things we used to love going and doing was going to the bakery and getting a Queen Amman.
Oh, yeah.
And then we did that after we'd been keto for 3-4 years or whatever. We tried, like, man, we don't like this. Why? So we're saving money there too.
Well, yeah, you really do. Kate said, thanks for the confab and the info, y'all. I didn't mean to portray my husband as being haphazard.
No,
he has been very diligent, but not as strict as me. I'm trying not to badger him about small stuff. Right. Well, and Caden, me and a wife too, if we badger them, that never seems to work, right? Cool. So you have to just kind of, this is what I say, and Heath could cover his ears, but they gotta have to live it and learn it on their own, right? Because there's been several times I've told Heath stuff, but so then I just let him figure it out.
Well, that's why I've always teased and joked that she made me go keto, right? Back when I was still working in construction, I call it, I was half-ass. When we were at the house or we went out to eat together, I was strict. But when I was on my own driving around, I would still go through the drive-thru, get a burger and fries and sodas and everything and eat it. Like, she ain't with me. She ain't gonna know. She can't stop me. And it wasn't until the doctor called me. And I was, like I said, I was only half-ass keto anyways. The doctor called me. Because at that time, I was a type 2 diabetic and I was prescribed metformin, those big old horse pills. He actually called me and told me, hey, we ran your numbers again. And honestly, you taking that metformin could be dangerous to you because you're no longer diabetic. And that is what convinced me to no longer half-ass it. I need to remember and remind myself that when I'm in places like Aldi or whatever, and I'll get their $5 pizzas, or telling you to get my onion rings and stuff like that. No, dummy, you don't need that.
Right. But I think it's also you have to kind of learn because like for some of us, if we go off plan, like we get really sick like immediately. But like when he would do it, he'd say, "Oh, I didn't have any issues."
Yeah, so I'm fine.
Because his is accumulative. He won't feel it right then.
Months later.
Right. But then it accumulates because then it's kind of worse when you don't feel it because you then think it's okay. And then
it's like a lulled sense of security almost. Like,
right. Because then you're like,
dangerous.
oh, well then, hey, it didn't affect me when I did that this day. So I could do it again and again and again. And then next thing you know,
it's a recipe for disaster.
Right. But sometimes it's better to do that and let them learn.
Yeah.
Because if you just tell them,
you don't have to be right all the time, you know.
But I am.
I know.
But so sometimes, you know what? Just let him and then be like, well, when he's like, this and this is happening, say, well, it's probably that sugar you've been adding to your coffee. And then, they have to like figure it out. Oh, yeah, you know what? Maybe it is.
Well, remember, too, it was like when we were trying to do a BB&E. And I had all these products and stuff like that. And they're in the house. We were going to do whatever. I was like, well, let me finish these first and then we'll start. I'm like, you know what I tell you? No. If I want to do it, let's do it. Why put off?
Yep. Tweet TQ Cat said Sam tried to be sneaky about that pill. He really was. He was just like, and he would act like he was going to chew it. And he's out, but he was doing that where he's like showing his teeth where he's like, oh. And then he'd spit it out. And I'm like, and then I didn't want Delilah to get a hold of it. And so then I'd have to be right there. So I had peel stuff all over my hand. It was a mess.
And you said you didn't want kids.
That's exactly why it reminds me. Because I'm like, oh, like yesterday after the car thing, I was like, oh, this is why. It was really hard for me.
Your diaper?
Shauna said, oh my God, finally back upstairs, sitting down. I made quick steak with caramelized onions. Ooh. Melted white cheese and bacon, wide pork rinds. I'm so tired after that, but at least you did it. Wow, that sounds really good. Oh, Sharon said, okay, time to start my dinner. See y'all later. Good night, Sharon.
Yeah, we're going to have to cut this short pretty soon, too, because we got to get everything set up. Because my little brother's coming over here in a little while.
Yeah, for his birthday and the holidays.
Yeah, because his birthday is actually November 18th. And we were back and forth whether we're going to celebrate his birthday or Thanksgiving on the same day. And he's like, hey, look, I'm going to give you my mom's on Thanksgiving. He goes, can I come over Sunday after? I was like, yeah, sure, that'll work. Thanks. Yeah, that'd be cool, actually.
Right. Shauna said, I just finished making breakfast. Oh, wow.
Nice.
Because then Sharon's starting on dinner. Shauna said, okay, I got a lot of recipes here. She doesn't use almond flour in her baked things either. Nice. Oh, Casey.
We're starting to trend.
Rena. That's awesome.
And that's the thing, too. We've been kicking around, or at least I've been thinking about, I need to put a video out talking about the 3 best foods for me we have found is eggs, salmon, and beef.
Yeah. Radical Geek. Hey, Maitreya said hello. What's going on?
Yesterday.
A side of pork rinds. That's what I figured you were saying. Oops, I guess it's lunch. I just looked at the time. I was going to say it seems late
brunch.
Right? Well, it's noon there for her already.
A lot of times you go to brunch at that time. So.
That's true on Sundays. Yeah. Sundays brunch is anywhere from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m., right?
Yeah. It's lazy Sunday. Just do what you got to do.
That's right.
And you're an adult. Nobody can tell you.
That's right. Now we're adults. Our breakfast and our lunch and dinners whenever we want it to be. Right. Who's going to tell us otherwise?
Right.
Oh, Maitreya says she loves salmon. Salmon is really good.
So I some in the freezer.
Yeah, I always try to get the bag of frozen salmon at Aldi because that's the best price I've seen for it.
And it's so quick and easy.
Yeah,
a real quick dinner. We don't have anything planned really. That's great to grab those.
Yeah, grab it, put them in the air fryer. It works perfect every time. Shada said, well, kinda. I had coffee earlier. Well, see there, that's how I consider coffee my morning breakfast.
Right?
And what?
No, you're good. I was yawning. Annoying.
And she goes, oh, I got a sock putter honor helper. Oh, sock putter honor helper.
Oh,
Now I can easily wear socks. Oh, that's
Nice.
good. Yeah, I saw you telling Renee that. I think it was in our Hungry Horde group, and you were saying how you didn't do any BLTs, but you used that sock putter honor helper and did the opposite sock, the opposite leg, so she didn't have to bend or
nice.
yeah, lower. So that's awesome, Shauna.
Oof. I was really hoping to get a little nap in too before he gets here.
Okay. Well, he says he's going to come around 5. So
Yeah.
we're making that pork chili stew, and I need to sweep because there's dog hair. I swear that these dogs have so much hair.
We collect them all up. We almost have another dog.
We almost do every single time. And
probably the size of Dyson.
Yeah, really. Yes, exactly. Because I'll do one where I sweep all the way towards Heath's bedroom because he has a big trash can in his office, and I'll put it all in there, and it does. It looks like a little Dyson sitting there, a little black Dyson, because it's usually like black and gray hair, and that's what it looks like. It's so much. I'm like, how do they put so much hair all the time? All the time, y'all.
Right.
All
never
the time.
Ending.
It really does feel never ending. I need to get a new Rosie battery so she can start helping me again. All right. Well, do y'all have any other questions? Otherwise, we'll wrap this up so we can then get cleaning and he can get a nap in before his brother gets here.
And I got to fight with my laptop that's in the living room.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it doesn't want to read that I have it plugged in. It's trying to go just off a battery and it keeps dying. It was really bad the other day when we were doing it. We're right in the middle of trying to watch a show that I have on there, and it would turn it off right in the middle of the TV, the episode. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then we're trying to use it tonight to watch a movie with him.
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited. Did you ever ask him if he's seen that movie yet?
No.
Oh,
we're just gonna watch it with him.
Oh, well, he might have seen it.
That's good. He can be quiet. He's my little brother. Wow, that's the rules. Radical
Geek said, laugh aloud. I have this on my TV. My dog thinks you're talking to him. Aww. Oh, yeah, that's who we were talking about. She goes, his name's Doug. That's who we're talking about, Maitreya.
Because he's a little dog.
He's little. Yeah. So when I sweep up all the dog hair, it looks like a little Dyson because it's just this ball of fur.
So here's just saying his name. No, that's awesome.
Dyson, there's a leaf.
Good boy.
Shauna said, have a great day, everyone. Nice. You too, Shauna. And she says, laugh out loud, hi, Dyson. There, that's Shauna telling him hi. Isn't that cute? Yes, Dyson the dog. It's so cute. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much.
Beautiful name for a dog, too, by the way.
I know. I love it. I love it.
Very clever.
All right, y'all. Have such a great day. Love y'all. Thanks so much again. I want to thank all of you who used our link to order Keto Chow. Yes. We are so appreciative. Like, really, I appreciate y'all so much for using any of our affiliate links. So when you use that to get your Redmonds or your Keto Chow or Salty, it really does help our channel. So I know not everybody can afford to be a channel member. Of course, we'd love it if you feel like it. That's a great holiday gift. But if you can't, if you just use our affiliate links, that really does help our channel, y'all. We so appreciate when you do that. It just really makes a world of difference for us. All right. And everybody say